Introduction. For too long you've invested countless hours and immeasurable energy trying to fix, change, or save others, often at the expense of your own well-being. The human desire to assist, particularly for those we hold dear, is innate. However, we lose the ability to nurture ourselves and grow when the cost of such endeavors drains our own reserves. This book marks the beginning of a new journey, a transformative path that pivots from an outward focus to an inward one. Now is the time to put yourself first, embrace personal development, and achieve the success you deserve. Let Them Go, Focus on Yourself, Not Others is designed to guide you through the process of disentangling yourself from the exhausting pursuit of trying to fix others and redirecting that energy back to where it will do the most good, on you. Through the chapters of this book you will explore methods and strategies to help you shift your focus, understand and set your boundaries, recognize and act upon your needs, and ultimately find greater satisfaction and happiness in your life. This book offers a step-by-step approach to becoming more self-aware and to building a healthier, self-focused life. We'll start by identifying the signs that you are overly invested in others, to the detriment of your own needs. From there we'll discuss practical ways to gently but firmly set boundaries that protect your energy. You'll learn how to say no without guilt, how to recognize toxic relationships, and how to gracefully exit situations that no longer serve your best interests. We will also dive deep into the art of self-care and self-compassion. Understanding how to truly take care of yourself is essential, not just for your mental and physical health, but also for fulfilling your potential. This includes developing habits that nurture your body, mind and soul, encouraging a lifestyle that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. By focusing on yourself, you aren't neglecting others. Instead, you are making sure that you are the best version of yourself, that you are fully capable, and that you are truly present. It's not just about discovering who you are, but also about unleashing who you can be when you let go of the burden of others and focus solely on your path to personal fulfillment. Congratulations on your breakthrough. For more information about the ebook version of this audio, check the video description or visit audiobooksoffice.com. We notice that 67% of you who listen to our video are not yet subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe and like the video to show your support for the channel. Thanks for inspiring us to create more content for you. Chapter 1: Managing Emotional Investment for Personal Gain. Navigating through personal and professional landscapes often requires us to gauge how much of our emotional energy we invest in others. This chapter delves deeper into the subtleties of emotional investment and offers practical advice on how to effectively manage it for personal development and well-being. Emotional investment involves dedicating your time, energy, and feelings to relationships, whether they are personal, like those with family and friends, or professional, such as with colleagues or clients. For instance, consider Sarah, a project manager, who spent countless hours assisting a new team member, Mark, to help him integrate into the team. Despite her good intentions, she found herself drained. Realizing the emotional toll was disproportionate to the benefits, this scenario underscores the importance of assessing the returns of our emotional expenditures and recognizing the need for adjustment. It's vital to maintain a balance where you prioritize your own emotional needs to preserve your well-being. This does not imply being self-centered, rather, it entails employing a strategy of mindful investment and self-preservation. James, for instance, decided to limit the amount of time he spent on business calls on weekends. This decision helped him recharge and spend more quality time with his family, demonstrating the need to set clear boundaries. Another essential part of controlling emotional investment is learning to say no. Take the case of Lisa, a consultant, who felt overwhelmed by her workload because she couldn't refuse additional tasks from her peers. Lisa was able to regain control of her workload and lower her stress levels by learning to say no. Mental health and avoiding burnout both require these boundaries to be set. In addition, concentrate on cultivating uplifting, reciprocal relationships. Reflect on the story of Alex and Jordan, both graphic designers who shared a mutual respect and regularly supported each other's projects. Their relationship helped them grow professionally and personally, which shows how important it is to invest in relationships that benefit both parties. This chapter aims to equip you with the knowledge to become more resilient by being mindful of where and how much you invest emotionally. Implementing these strategies will not only enhance your personal satisfaction, but also ensure you make wise choices that safeguard your emotional health, enabling you to thrive in all areas of life. Chapter 2: Spotting and Dealing with Energy Drainers. As you embark on a journey of self-prioritization, your sensitivity to energy-draining individuals and situations will inevitably heighten. This chapter explores how to identify and manage relationships that sap your emotional and mental reserves, paving the way for a healthier, more fulfilling life. Energy drainers can be found in any area of life, whether in personal circles or professional environments. Relationships or interactions like these consistently make you anxious, stressed, or emotionally depleted. The first step toward reducing their impact on your well-being is to recognize these energy wasters. For instance, Emily noticed that after lunches with her colleague Tom, she felt unusually tired and irritable. This realization led her to reflect on the nature of their conversations, which were often negative and pessimistic. Once you identify an energy drainer, it's crucial to consider strategic responses. One effective approach is setting firm boundaries. Consider Michael, who found his friend Dave's constant complaints mentally exhausting. To maintain his energy, Michael decided to limit their interactions to group settings rather than one-on-one meetings. Distancing yourself might be necessary at times. When Laura felt overwhelmed by her neighbors' demands for attention and time, she chose to gradually reduce their interactions, replacing that time with activities that replenished her energy, like yoga and reading. Not only did this make her feel better, but it also gave her time to build more relationships that were supportive of her. Moreover, it's important to foster relationships that energize and uplift you. Angela and Zoe, for example, shared a mutual love for art and often visited galleries together. Angela felt inspired and rejuvenated after these outings, highlighting the advantages of participating in stimulating activities with like-minded people. This chapter guides you through the process of identifying and dealing with energy drainers, encouraging you to nurture relationships that contribute positively to your life. You can maintain your energy, concentrate on personal development, and increase your happiness as a whole by learning to effectively manage these interactions. Chapter 3: Understanding and accepting the limits of your power over others. As you begin to build a community of positive and supportive people, it becomes equally important to recognize and accept the limits of your power over others. This chapter addresses the common misconception that we can change people's thoughts, feelings, or behaviors and provide strategies for managing our expectations and interactions more healthfully. Realizing that you cannot control others is a significant step towards emotional maturity. For example, consider Janet, who always tried to help her brother Eric make better financial decisions. Despite her well-intentioned advice, Eric continued his extravagant spending habits. Janet became irritated and anxious as a result of this circumstance before realizing the limits of her power. Janet was able to reduce her stress and concentrate on her own financial objectives instead when she realized that Eric's actions were outside of her control. Additionally, by preventing misunderstandings and conflicts, knowing your influence limits aids in maintaining healthy relationships. Take the case of Bob and his coworker Linda. Because he believed his approach to projects was superior, Bob frequently felt compelled to influence Linda's approach. This caused tension until Bob realized that Linda's different approach often brought fresh perspectives and that his need to influence her was unnecessary. This realization ought to inspire a more balanced approach rather than isolation from the lives of others. Supporting rather than controlling is the goal. A practical method for achieving this balance is through active listening and empathy. When Rachel found herself trying to fix her friend Melissa's marital problems, she shifted her approach. Instead of offering solutions, Rachel listened empathetically, which provided Melissa the support she needed without overstepping boundaries. Focusing on what you can control, your actions, reactions, and emotional investments, is another part of recognizing your limits. This perspective empowers you to invest your energy wisely, leading to greater personal peace and balanced relationships. In this chapter, you learn to navigate the delicate balance of influence and acceptance, ensuring that while you are supportive, you do not shoulder the burden of others' choices. This understanding is crucial for anyone looking to build sustainable, healthy interactions, both personally and professionally. Chapter 4. Respecting and establishing personal boundaries. Protecting your mental and emotional health necessitates establishing personal boundaries. This chapter elaborates on the importance of boundaries and provides guidance on how to establish and maintain them effectively. Personal boundaries help you define what you are comfortable with and how you wish to be treated by others. They are essential for prioritizing your own needs and desires, helping to maintain your health and prevent emotional exhaustion. For instance, Clara, a dedicated teacher, found herself constantly overwhelmed by work because she couldn't say no to additional responsibilities. She noticed a significant improvement in her well-being and job satisfaction once she began to clearly define her availability. It's important to recognize that setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness but rather a form of self-respect. Take the case of Aaron, who loved his job but struggled with late-night work calls that affected his family time. By communicating his limits to his team and suggesting alternatives, he was able to protect his personal time while still being a committed team member. Boundaries can vary widely. They may be emotional, such as deciding not to discuss personal life at work, or physical, like preferring not to have close physical contact with acquaintances. For instance, Mia maintains a professional relationship with her coworkers by politely declining to answer questions about her personal life at work. Mia is very private about her personal life. Furthermore, respecting your boundaries is just as important as setting them. When you enforce your boundaries, you teach others how to treat you, leading to healthier relationships. This also builds self-confidence and empowerment, as seen in the life of Jake. After ending a friendship that was disrespectful of his boundaries, Jake found that he had more energy and focus for his passions and respectful relationships. Establishing and respecting personal boundaries allows you to live more authentically and peacefully. By setting limits, you ensure that you are prioritizing your well-being and sending a clear message about your needs and expectations to others. This chapter aims to equip you with the tools necessary to define, communicate, and enforce your boundaries, enhancing your ability to lead a balanced and fulfilling life. Chapter 5. Recognizing attempts to change others. In the personal growth journey, a common pitfall is the desire to change those around us. This chapter discusses why such attempts are not only futile, but also detrimental to our own well-being, and how we can better manage our energy by redirecting our focus inward. When we spend energy trying to change others, we often don't realize the emotional toll it takes until we're left feeling drained and frustrated. It is critical to recognize the warning signs of this behavior. For example, Emma often found herself irritated with her partner, thinking he should be more organized and proactive. We are clearly going too far when we try to impose our own values and expectations on other people, and this mindset of, they should, or, they need to, is a clear indication of this. Acknowledging these tendencies allows us to shift our focus back to what truly matters, our reactions and behaviors. Instead of trying to change her partner, Emma began to focus on her own responses, finding ways to adapt and communicate more effectively. This change not only improved her relationship but also enhanced her own emotional resilience. Moreover, this realization leads to a more peaceful and empowering way of living. Take Lucas as an example. He always thought his coworkers weren't doing enough. This led to resentment and a toxic work environment. Once he recognized his inability to change their work ethics, he focused on his own contributions and sought constructive ways to encourage teamwork without coercion. It's also helpful to understand why we feel compelled to change others. Often it stems from our own insecurities or a desire for control. By addressing these underlying issues, we can begin to let go of this need. Therapy helped Nora realize that her attempts to change her friends' lifestyles were actually reflections of her own struggles with self-acceptance. There is a tremendous amount of energy that can be redirected toward personal growth that is both more productive and more satisfying when we recognize and put an end to our attempts to change other people. It encourages a healthier outlook where we accept people as they are, focus on our own growth, and engage more harmoniously in our relationships. This chapter aims to provide insights and strategies to help you cultivate a sense of peace and empowerment by letting go of the need to control the change in others. Chapter 6, Exploring and Overcoming Codependent Behaviors. Recognizing and addressing codependent behaviors is crucial for personal development. This chapter delves into patterns where you might prioritize others' needs excessively, often at your own expense, and provides practical steps to transform these habits into healthier interactions. Codependency often manifests in several ways, such as people-pleasing, seeking validation, or attempting to control others' actions, all of which can lead to emotional exhaustion. For instance, Sophia found that she was constantly altering her plans to fit her partner's preferences while ignoring her own needs. This pattern not only drained her energy but also left her feeling unfulfilled and resentful. The first step in overcoming codependency is recognizing these behaviors. This realization can be challenging as these patterns are often ingrained and normalized through years of repetition. It is essential for change to acknowledge the emotional toll these behaviors take. Once Sophia recognized her people-pleasing tendencies, she began to understand the importance of asserting her needs. Interrupting codependent behaviors involves setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing self-care. For example, when Michael noticed he was overly invested in his friend's problems, he decided to set limits on how much time he spent discussing these issues. Instead, he dedicated more time to his hobbies and interests, which helped him regain a sense of self and reduce feelings of burnout. Another important aspect is strengthening one's sense of self. Engaging in activities that you find fulfilling, seeking therapy, or simply spending time in self-reflection are all effective ways to enhance self-awareness and reduce codependent tendencies. Grace started keeping a journal to talk about her thoughts and feelings. This helped her find and gradually change her behavior of looking for validation. By reclaiming your energy and focusing on your growth, you empower yourself to cultivate more balanced and fulfilling relationships. This shift not only enhances your own life, but also improves your interactions with others, leading to more authentic and supportive connections. You will learn how to recognize, interrupt, and overcome codependent behaviors in this chapter, empowering you to live a more authentic and empowered life. You set the stage for better relationships and personal health by comprehending and addressing these patterns. Chapter 7. Overcoming the savior mentality for healthier interaction. Operating with a savior mentality, where you feel compelled to rescue or fix others, can lead to draining and unhealthy dynamics in your relationships. This chapter explores how to recognize this mindset, set necessary boundaries, and foster more balanced interactions. The savior mentality often arises from a well-intentioned desire to help others, but it can lead to a cycle where you feel responsible for others' happiness and well-being. For instance, Kevin, a caring educator, frequently sacrificed his own health and personal time in order to assist struggling students beyond what was required of him by his job. This not only exhausted him but also prevented his students from learning to manage their challenges independently. The first step toward change is to recognize the symptoms of a savior mentality. When you think about setting limits, you might experience overwhelming feelings of guilt or a sense of responsibility for the actions of other people. It's important to understand that while helping others is commendable, doing so should not compromise your well-being. To break free from this mentality, setting clear boundaries is crucial. Boundaries help you define what you are willing and not willing to take on. For instance, when Laura, a dedicated social worker, realized her constant availability was affecting her mental health, she began to schedule specific times for client calls, protecting her personal time. This not only helped her recharge but also taught her clients to respect her limits. Saying no is also a vital part of overcoming the savior mentality. It lets others take charge of their lives and lets you make room for your needs. James learned this when he stopped solving his brother's financial crises. By stepping back, James encouraged his brother to seek professional financial advice, fostering his independence. Ultimately, the shift from a savior mentality to a more self-respecting approach requires a change in how you perceive your role in others' lives. You control only your actions and reactions, not those of others. This realization empowers you to focus more on your personal growth and well-being. This chapter aims to guide you through shedding the savior mentality, enabling you to engage in healthier, more equitable interactions that respect both your boundaries and those of others. By adopting this mindset, you prepare yourself for more fulfilling and balanced relationships. Chapter 8, Putting an emphasis on self-care as a form of self-love. Caring for oneself is more than just taking care of oneself, it's a profound act of self-love. This chapter explores how dedicating time to nurture your well-being is essential for personal growth and happiness. It guides you through understanding and implementing self-care practices that affirm your worth and foster self-acceptance. Self-care encompasses more than just physical health. It includes mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Take for instance Anna, who came to the realization that her never-ending busyness was a means of avoiding confronting her need for emotional healing. By starting a routine of nightly journaling and weekly therapy sessions, Anna began to address her unresolved feelings, which significantly improved her mental health and overall happiness. Recognizing your worth as deserving of love and care is another aspect of prioritizing self-care. It involves setting aside time for activities that genuinely bring you joy and relaxation. For example, David made it a priority to go hiking every weekend as a way to disconnect from work stress and reconnect with nature, which rejuvenated his spirit and energy levels. Self-compassion is an additional essential component of self-care. This means being as kind to yourself as you would be to a good friend. Emily learned this when she forgave herself for mistakes at work, instead of spiraling into self-criticism, which had always plummeted her self-esteem. Learning to treat herself with kindness helped Emily build resilience and a more positive self-image. In addition, self-care entails making difficult choices that are in accordance with your requirements, such as establishing boundaries or declining demands that zap your energy. For instance, Marcus decided against accepting invitations to late-night gatherings and preferred a more peaceful evening routine. This adjustment allowed him to feel more rested and alert, contributing greatly to his daily well-being. Self-care is a dynamic and personalized practice that proves you are worthy of love and care from yourself as much as from others. This chapter gives you the knowledge and resources you need to create a self-care routine that works for you and makes you happier, healthier, and more fulfilled. By committing to self-care, you celebrate your existence and take active steps toward loving and accepting yourself just as you are. 9. Chapter Elevating Your Emotional Well-Being. Prioritizing emotional well-being is a transformative part of your personal growth journey. This chapter focuses on actionable ways to improve your emotional health, emphasizing the importance of self-compassion, understanding your feelings, and creating a supportive environment for yourself. Emotional well-being involves recognizing and valuing your feelings as an integral part of who you are. It all starts with self-compassion, the practice of treating oneself with the same compassion and understanding as you would give to a friend. For instance, when Julia missed a work deadline, rather than berating herself, she acknowledged the error and concentrated on figuring out how to avoid future problems, practicing self-compassion to lessen stress and improve resilience. Acknowledging your emotions without judgment is another crucial aspect. Consider Tom, who felt overwhelmed by sadness after a breakup. By allowing himself to feel and express his emotions without criticism, Tom navigated through his feelings more healthily and gradually began to heal. This practice of acknowledgement helps in understanding that it's okay not to be okay and that emotional ups and downs are natural. In addition to self-compassion and acknowledgement, building a supportive environment plays a vital role in enhancing your emotional well-being. This means surrounding yourself with people who uplift and understand you, as well as engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. For instance, Sarah joined a book club, which not only fostered her enthusiasm for reading but also brought her into contact with others who shared her interests, thereby enhancing her emotional world. Furthermore, practicing mindfulness can greatly benefit your emotional health. Mindfulness is being fully present in the moment and staying present. Mike noticed that he was less reactive to stress and more in control of his emotions when he started incorporating mindfulness practices into his daily routine. This resulted in a greater sense of peace and contentment in his life. It takes time, patience, and practice to improve your emotional well-being. This chapter offers practical advice on cultivating self-compassion, acknowledging your feelings, and creating a supportive environment, all of which are key to living a happier and more fulfilled life. By investing in your emotional health, you affirm your worth and take significant strides towards a more balanced and joyful existence. Chapter 10: Cultivating Healthy Relationship Dynamics. By taking charge of your own development, you can fundamentally re-evaluate and enhance your life's relationships. This chapter offers strategies for nurturing healthier relationships that support your growth and happiness, emphasizing the importance of setting boundaries and choosing supportive companions. Recognizing and distancing yourself from toxic relationships is the first critical step in this transformative process. For instance, when Emily realized that her longtime friend Claire constantly criticized her choices rather than offering support, she decided to gradually reduce their interactions. This decision, while difficult, was necessary for protecting her emotional well-being. Healthy dynamics can only be established through the establishment of boundaries. Boundaries help communicate your values, limits, and expectations to others. Consider the story of Mark, who felt overwhelmed by his family's expectations to attend weekly gatherings. Mark set a boundary that allowed him to attend twice a week instead by making it clear that he needed time for himself. This allowed him to keep his family close while also meeting his own needs. Choosing to surround yourself with positive and uplifting people is another key aspect of improving relationship dynamics. For instance, Sarah looked for people who shared her enthusiasm for volunteer work. This not only broadened her social circle but also helped her achieve her personal values and objectives. These relationships, based on mutual respect and shared interests, provided her with a sense of fulfillment in community. It's also important to practice saying no to relationships that drain your energy and yes to those that contribute positively to your life. Alex learned this when he declined further contact with a manipulative coworker and instead invested more in friendships that were supportive and genuine. By doing so, Alex created a more positive and inspiring environment for himself. By identifying toxic patterns, establishing boundaries, and selecting enriching companionships, this chapter will walk you through the steps necessary to improve the dynamics of your relationships. You take control of your relationship world through these practices, ensuring that your interactions support and reflect your values and personal growth. By being selective about who you let into your life, you pave the way for more meaningful and supportive relationships. Chapter 11: Embracing Emotional Freedom and Letting Go of Guilt. Releasing guilt and embracing emotional freedom are essential first steps on the road to personal development and well-being. This chapter looks at how to get rid of the emotions and expectations of other people that are too much of a burden, allowing you to live a life that is more in line with what you want and need. When we internalize responsibilities that are not ours to bear, such as the happiness or choices of those around us, we frequently experience guilt. For instance, Lucy believed she was being selfish and felt guilty whenever she took time for herself away from her family. This guilt hindered her ability to enjoy her own life and contributed to emotional exhaustion. The first step toward releasing this guilt is recognizing that self-care is not selfish but essential for maintaining one's health and happiness. Understanding guilt's origins is helpful before beginning to let go of it. Often, guilt is tied to deep-seated beliefs about our role in others' lives, shaped by cultural, familial, or societal expectations. For instance, Dan was raised in a family where he was frequently held accountable for the well-being of his younger siblings. As a result, he felt guilty whenever he put his own needs ahead of those of others in adult relationships. To identify and challenge these ingrained beliefs, gradually freeing himself from this unhealthy guilt. Embracing emotional freedom involves giving yourself permission to live according to your values and desires, without being swayed by others' judgments. Take Anita, for instance, who made the choice to change careers despite the disapproval of her parents. Anita experienced profound emotional liberation and fulfillment by accepting that she could not please everyone and choosing her own path. Furthermore, practicing forgiveness, both towards yourself and others, can significantly aid in releasing guilt. Forgiveness allows you to let go of past grievances and move forward with less emotional baggage. Sarah found it easier to engage in new relationships without the burden of old guilt when she forgave herself for her mistakes in her friendships. In order to embrace emotional freedom, we offer strategies in this chapter for recognizing, comprehending, and letting go of guilt. You can empower yourself to lead a life of authenticity, joy, and freedom by putting your emotional health first and letting go of the expectations of others. This journey requires courage and self-awareness, but leads to a more rewarding and balanced existence. Chapter 12, Taking Charge of Your Responsibility. Adopting personal responsibility is a transformative step toward bettering your overall well-being and taking control of your destiny. This chapter underscores the importance of acknowledging that your choices and reactions significantly shape your life's trajectory. Understanding that you have complete autonomy over how you respond to external events and other people's actions, despite the fact that you cannot control them, is part of taking responsibility. For instance, when Michael was confronted with a stressful circumstance at work, he realized that reacting with anger was not beneficial to either himself or his team. By choosing to approach challenges with a solution-oriented mindset, he not only improved his work environment but also his personal satisfaction with his job. It is also essential to acknowledge that accepting the consequences of your choices is part of owning them. When Emma decided to end a long-term relationship that was no longer fulfilling, she took responsibility for her happiness. Despite the uncertainty and difficulty of the decision, it ultimately enabled her to lead a life that was more authentic and fulfilled. Personal responsibility also involves acknowledging and learning from your mistakes. Consider Tom, who made a significant error in a project. Tom looked at what went wrong, accepted full responsibility, and made a plan to avoid making the same mistakes again. He didn't give up or shift blame. This not only helped him grow professionally but also boosted his self-esteem and reliability in the eyes of his colleagues. In addition, taking personal responsibility entails making proactive decisions that are in line with your objectives and values. For instance, Julie had always wanted to work in the arts but was afraid of the cost. By taking responsibility for her career path, she started part-time classes and gradually built a network in the art community, which eventually led her to a fulfilling new job. The examples and strategies in this chapter will help you understand how personal responsibility can help you create the life you want. By understanding that you are the creator of your destiny, not merely a victim of circumstances, you empower yourself to make decisions that lead to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. You can successfully navigate the complexities of life while continually pursuing growth and happiness by practicing awareness, acceptance, and proactive behavior. Chapter 13. Adopting a growth mindset for continuous improvement. Adopting a growth mindset is a transformative approach to life that fosters continuous improvement and learning. This chapter delves into the ways in which adopting this mindset can significantly improve your capacity to progress toward your goals, overcome obstacles, and develop your skills and comprehension over time. A growth mindset centers on the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. It contrasts with a fixed mindset, which assumes that talents and capabilities are static and unchangeable. You can see challenges as opportunities to improve rather than insurmountable obstacles if you adopt a growth mindset. For instance, rather than feeling defeated, Sarah saw the criticism she received on a work project as an opportunity to learn and improve her skills. She requested feedback, applied it, and improved her performance on future projects. Another important aspect of a growth mindset is accepting failure as part of the learning process. Consider Alex, who started a small business that initially failed. Alex didn't give up. He looked into the reasons for the failure and learned how to do things better in business. He changed his approach as a result of this information and later launched a successful business. Moreover, a growth mindset encourages curiosity and a desire to learn, which can lead to greater achievement and satisfaction. Julia, an aspiring writer, decided to take creative writing courses and actively seek out criticism and advice from more experienced writers. Her willingness to learn and adapt her style led to significant improvements in her writing and eventually to publishing success. Setting realistic goals and celebrating small successes are also integral to developing a growth mindset. Ben, for instance, decided to work on his public speaking skills. He started by speaking at small local events and gradually worked his way up to larger conferences. Each successful speech built his confidence and skill level, further fueling his progress. This chapter provides a roadmap for adopting a growth mindset that includes embracing challenges, learning from failures, and being driven by curiosity. By continuously setting goals, seeking feedback, and celebrating your achievements, you can enhance your personal and professional life. Remember, every mistake is a learning opportunity, and your potential to grow and achieve is limitless. With a growth mindset, you can keep pushing forward and unlock your true potential. Chapter 14 Enhancing Resilience and Self-Awareness. Resilience and self-awareness are foundational elements of personal growth and self-improvement. This chapter focuses on building these qualities to help you navigate life's challenges more effectively and make informed decisions that reflect your true self. Resilience is your ability to recover quickly from difficulties. It's about bouncing back from setbacks without losing your momentum. Developing resilience starts with accepting that setbacks are part of life. For instance, when Michael was passed over for a promotion, instead of spiraling into negativity, he chose to learn from the experience. He sought feedback, identified areas for improvement, and focused on acquiring new skills. He gained confidence and prepared himself for future opportunities through his resilience. Self-awareness involves understanding your emotions, strengths, and weaknesses, and recognizing how your actions affect others. This can be seen in the story of marketing manager Lisa, who had trouble assigning tasks. Lisa came to the realization through self-reflection that the fear of appearing less dedicated was the root of her reluctance to delegate. She was able to address her behavior, begin to trust her team more, and improve her work-life balance once she realized this. Enhancing these skills requires continuous effort and mindfulness. Practices such as journaling can be particularly effective in fostering self-awareness. By regularly writing down her thoughts and feelings, Emma discovered patterns in her behavior that she previously overlooked. This insight enabled her to make more conscious choices in her personal and professional relationship. In addition, maintaining a network of support can improve resilience. James found this out after experiencing a personal loss. He improved his resilience by relying on friends and family, taking part in activities in the community, and seeking professional assistance. In conclusion, this chapter demonstrates practical methods for increasing self-awareness and resilience. By embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, reflecting on your experiences, and seeking support when needed, you develop a stronger, more adaptive approach to life. This empowerment not only makes you more resilient, but also deepens your understanding of yourself, leading to a more confident and proactive existence. You will notice a transformation in your capacity to handle whatever comes your way as you continue to develop these skills. Chapter 15. Fostering positive relationships and influences. As you continue to develop resilience and self-awareness, recognizing the impact of your relationships and influences becomes crucial. This chapter focuses on how surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people can significantly enhance your growth and well-being. The people around you can have a profound effect on your mood, outlook, and overall life trajectory. Positive relationships, those that are nurturing and supportive, encourage you to be your best self. For example, consider the case of Anna, who thrived in her career and personal life once she began to cultivate friendships with colleagues who shared her aspirations and positive work ethic. Not only did these relationships give her motivation, but they also gave her practical support and encouragement, which were crucial to her success. Negative relationships, on the other hand, have the potential to sap your energy and undermine your well-being. Mark realized this when he noticed that his longtime friend Derek consistently discouraged his ideas and undermined his achievements. Mark made the decision to gradually distance himself from Derek and spend more time with friends who uplifted him because he was aware of the negative effects of this relationship. His mental health and self-esteem both improved as a result of this change. To foster positive relationships, it is essential to actively seek out and nurture bonds with individuals who respect your boundaries, share similar values, and have a constructive outlook on life. A great way to meet people who share your interests is to participate in community groups, clubs, or online forums. Additionally, it is essential to regularly assess your relationship's health. Sarah, for example, made it a habit to reflect on her interactions and how they made her feel. She was able to identify and strengthen the connections that were the most enriching for her through this practice, as well as recognize when it might be time to let go of others. In conclusion, this chapter provides strategies for actively choosing and nurturing relationships that bring positivity and support into your life. You can create a supportive environment that enables you to thrive by concentrating on these positive influences. Remember, you have the agency to shape your social landscape, and making deliberate choices about who you surround yourself with is a critical step in your journey of personal development. Chapter 16. Building a strong support network. Anyone aiming for personal development and resilience must have a strong support network. This chapter explains how to cultivate and maintain a network of individuals who provide emotional, motivational, and practical support. A robust support network includes a variety of supporters, from close family and friends to colleagues and mentors, who believe in your potential and contribute positively to your journey. For instance, Emma's mentor Susan helped her confidently navigate this significant change when she made the decision to switch careers. Susan provided Emma with invaluable guidance and encouragement. The importance of having supportive people around cannot be overstated. They provide comfort in difficult times, challenge you to grow, and offer new perspectives. Take Michael, a budding entrepreneur, whose friends rallied around him when his first business venture failed. They helped him come up with ideas and strategies for his next project, demonstrating the tangible advantages of a strong support network. Their support was not only moral but also practical. Start by determining the characteristics you value in relationships, such as trust, positivity, and mutual respect, in order to build such a network. Actively look for people who exhibit these characteristics. They can be found in a variety of settings where like-minded people are likely to gather, such as workshops, seminars, or even volunteer activities. Moreover, maintaining these relationships is just as important as forming them. The key to maintaining these connections is to communicate frequently, show gratitude, and be there for others when they need you. For example, Sarah makes it a point to schedule monthly meetups with her support group, ensuring they remain closely connected and aware of each other's lives and challenges. It's also important to know when a relationship is no longer working for you. Knowing when to distance oneself from negative influences is crucial for maintaining overall well-being. James realized this when he noticed that his longtime colleague's cynicism was affecting his optimism. James maintained his upbeat outlook by gradually reducing the amount of time he spent with that coworker. In conclusion, this chapter outlines practical steps to building and maintaining a strong support network that fosters personal growth and resilience. You can create a dynamic safety net that not only supports you in times of need but also celebrates your successes by surrounding yourself with the right people. This will make your journey toward personal fulfillment that much more rewarding. Chapter 17. Setting realistic expectations in relationships. Setting realistic expectations is a critical component in developing and maintaining healthy, supportive relationships. This chapter focuses on how adjusting your expectations can enhance your interpersonal connections, reducing disappointment, and fostering a greater sense of satisfaction. When you set realistic expectations in your relationships, you acknowledge that everyone, including yourself, has limitations. This understanding is crucial for building empathy and patience with others. For instance, Jessica learned to recognize that her friend Tom, a busy doctor, couldn't always be available at a moment's notice. Jessica lowered her expectations regarding Tom's availability, which helped her avoid being dissatisfied and allowed her to keep a strong friendship that was always there for her. Furthermore, setting realistic expectations helps you focus on what is truly important in your relationships. It encourages you to focus on what other people can do for you rather than their weaknesses. For example, although Sarah wished her partner was more outgoing, she came to appreciate his thoughtful, introspective nature, which brought a balance to their relationship that she deeply valued. Additionally, it is essential to clearly communicate these expectations. Open communication prevents misunderstandings and builds trust. At the beginning of their venture, Mark discovered that aligning their goals and working styles, which contributed to their success and prevented potential conflicts, was made possible by discussing his expectations with his business partner. Additionally, by setting realistic expectations, you take more responsibility for your happiness and well-being rather than placing it in the hands of others. It's empowering to see things differently. Consider the case of Emily, who used to rely heavily on her family's approval. Once she set the realistic expectation that she must forge her own path regardless of others' opinions, Emily felt more free and confident in her decisions. In conclusion, this chapter provides strategies for setting realistic expectations in relationships, which is key to developing a supportive network and enhancing personal growth. By understanding and accepting others' strengths and limitations, communicating openly, and taking responsibility for your own happiness, you can build healthier and more fulfilling relationships. This approach not only reduces frustration but also enriches your interactions, allowing you to focus on growth and freedom in your personal journey. Chapter 18 Embracing Self-Compassion and Practicing Forgiveness. Embracing self-compassion and practicing forgiveness are vital steps in nurturing your emotional well-being and strengthening your personal growth. This chapter delves into the significance of treating oneself with compassion and understanding, as well as the ways in which forgiving oneself and others can free you from negative feelings. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and care you would offer a friend. It entails comprehending that committing errors is a natural part of human behavior and that each one presents an opportunity for development. Consider the experience of Lisa, who struggled with perfectionism in her career. Lisa chose to be kind to herself when she missed a crucial deadline rather than criticizing herself. Acknowledging the heavy workload and her dedication, this act of self-compassion helped her maintain her self-esteem and motivated her to manage her time more effectively in the future. Similarly, practicing forgiveness, whether towards yourself or others, is not about condoning hurtful actions but about releasing the hold that anger and resentment have on your emotional health. For example, after years of harboring resentment towards a former business partner, David decided to forgive him. This decision wasn't about rekindling the friendship but about freeing himself from the bitterness that had impacted his professional relationships and personal happiness. The process of forgiveness often starts with acknowledging the pain and allowing yourself to feel it without judgment. This approach was crucial for Emma, who felt betrayed by a close friend. She was able to move on with her life without the heavy burden of her resentment because she acknowledged her feelings and realized that receiving forgiveness was a gift to herself rather than to her friend. In addition, cultivating self-compassion and forgiveness frequently necessitates making an intentional effort to alter pre-existing thought patterns. This shift can be made easier through consistent practices like journaling, therapy, and mindfulness meditation. Jordan, for instance, gradually replaced his critical inner voice with a more compassionate one through daily mindfulness practices. In conclusion, this chapter emphasizes the importance of practicing forgiveness and embracing self-compassion for mental and emotional health. You can improve your capacity to develop and flourish by being kind to yourself and letting go of past wounds. These practices not only make your relationships with yourself and other people better, but they also make your life more enjoyable and peaceful. Chapter 19, Realizing and Unlocking Your True Potential. Realizing and unlocking your true potential is a life-altering process that requires self-discovery, bravery, and perseverance. This chapter encourages you to accept new challenges and have faith in your abilities as it walks you through the process of identifying your strengths and interests. As you embark on this journey, it's essential to cultivate a deep understanding of your unique talents and interests. Take for instance the story of Alice, who was always gifted in photography but never took it seriously. When she finally decided to take a photography course, it sparked a passion that led to a successful career change. Taking the time to look into your interests, like Alice did, can reveal a lot about your potential. Trusting your instincts plays a crucial role in this process. Your intuition often guides you towards choices that align with your deepest values and desires. For instance, Mark's gut told him it was time for a change when he felt unfulfilled in his corporate job. He quit his job and started a non-profit because he trusted his instincts and was passionate about environmental preservation. This bold move was not without risks, but it ultimately led to a more rewarding and purposeful career. Unlocking your potential also requires you to embrace the unknown. It's okay not to have all the answers right away. The willingness to try new things and gain knowledge from each experience is crucial. Sarah didn't know the first thing about writing a novel, but she didn't let that stop her. She committed to writing a little each day, gradually improving her skills, and eventually publishing a best-selling book. Additionally, overcoming self-doubt is crucial. It's important to recognize doubts and fears as normal and not let them stop you from moving forward. Jason persevered despite criticism for his creative project ideas and focused on receiving constructive feedback. In the end, his projects came to fruition and were praised. In conclusion, the strategies in this chapter will assist you in realizing and unlocking your true potential. You set the stage for a life that is authentic and fulfilling by understanding your strengths, trusting your instincts, accepting new challenges, and overcoming doubts. Keep in mind that every step you take toward gaining a deeper understanding of yourself helps to reveal the incredible potential that lies within you. Keep moving forward, and you'll be amazed at the results. As you move forward on your journey of self-discovery and personal growth, remember that breaking free from toxic relationships is like a phoenix rising from the ashes, renewed and ready to soar. Think of your life as a mixtape of your greatest hits. Don't waste your vinyl records on those who don't appreciate the unique melody of your soul. Instead, focus on refining your own soundtrack, tuning out the noise that distracts from your true rhythm. For example, when Emily decided to stop trying to please everyone around her, she discovered her passion for painting, a hobby that had been sidelined by her efforts to accommodate others. Emily discovered a community of like-minded artists who appreciated and shared her passion as she increased her time spent creating art. This support network was instrumental in helping her realize her full potential as a creator. You free up space for relationships and pursuits that enhance your well-being and bring joy by letting go of those who consume your energy. Take advantage of this freedom and watch as new experiences and opportunities align with who you really are. You are the composer of your life's symphony, and it's time to play it loud and clear. Thanks for listening to or reading this.